Hey everyone, it's kind of a continuation of the garden video. So we walk through everything that we have in the garden at the moment, and I wanted to walk through a little bit more in the backyard and show exactly what else is growing here. Let me know what you guys think about the video quality as well. So audio quality, video quality. We're still working on the daily video shooting. So we want to know what you guys think. Is everything does everything look good in the videos? Is everything clear? And just overall how you like these videos. If you do like them, definitely subscribe, like our videos. Helps us out a ton, so we could put out more videos, and helps motivate us to do more of these videos, just so you could see kind of what we're working on these days. So the first thing is this massive, actually it's two massive lilac bushes. They're absolutely huge, and kind of the issue with them being huge is, well, I mean, it's kind of like a tree. It kind of puts a shadow over here. But another issue is it's actually not supposed to be massive. It's more of a bush plant, so you're supposed to trim it. Usually every year you're supposed to trim it just so it doesn't grow this big. But I believe the owner of this house previously was down in Florida, so he wasn't able to maintain it as much. So we're going to be trimming these probably. I mean, we're kind of trimming them a little bit late, but we're probably going to trim them a little bit later in a few weeks. But everything's still green and everything. We had beautiful flowers on these still, just a lot of flowers. But most of the flowers were, all the way up there, so we couldn't enjoy them as much. But they're beautiful, and I don't really intend on pulling them out. Sorry, it's a little windy over here. But you can see, I mean, the root system and everything is just, they're huge. So with these plants, we're probably gonna just trim them, and then hopefully they don't put too big of a cast too big of a shadow onto the yard here, since we're gonna expand the yard. But I mean, they're the biggest lilac bush I've ever seen, honestly. And we used to go to a bunch of those like flower exhibits where they have a bunch of different flowering plants, and they kind of they're super maintained, like extremely maintained plants, and they showcase the flowers and everything in their best case, basically, like the most well maintained, most well fertilized case. And these are definitely kind of far out from their well maintained area. And actually there's 3 lilac bushes. You can see there's one more in the back there. So that's the yard, and I'll give you guys a little wide angle look of it. But here I want to go through some of the plants we got. So these really surprised us, these plants basically being here. We have an entire wall, and this is right along the road as well. You can kind of see the road from there. This is like a big rocky hill, and cars passing by every once in a while. But this entire hill right here is all raspberries, and I mean specifically they're black raspberries. So you can see it's just growing everywhere along here. This entire place is just black raspberries, and you can see some of the longer stalks here that have kind of dried out at this point. And we also have this wild cherry. It's it had a couple cherries this year. You can see maybe some dry ones over there. They're very small. I mean, they're wild cherries, but we didn't plant them, and when we're moving, we certainly didn't know any of this stuff was here. So we're extremely shocked and super surprised, and kind of enjoyed a bunch of blackberries during the season, which was phenomenal. I mean, there's really nothing like collecting your own fresh fruits, especially if it's just randomly growing here in the wild. There's these two other bushes which we're not actually sure what kind of bushes they are. We're thinking about chopping them down just so we could expand the raspberries that are going on there. But we're gonna kind of look into that and see if it's really worth chopping them down. Actually, if we look right here, we also got our fruit trees going, and we're gonna have a separate video on that. You can see our house cat or shop cat is right there in the corner. But I want to show you guys another tree that we planted right here in the center. This is a pomegranate, which, you know, the colors kind of started to change at this point. Didn't have any pomegranates yet, but we just, you know, basically just planted them. And we have one more. Chickens. They're just enjoying the soil and mixing everything up, which is kind of causing havoc for the landscaping. But we love our chickens, so we'll let them do what they do. They give us nice eggs. Here's another one. Really nice pomegranate. Pretty tall. I mean, it's about 4.5 feet, I would say. So that's something we planted. And we're going to go down towards the hill. I'm going to talk about some of the other plants that we kind of just found here that was just growing just out of nowhere, really. And I'm going to talk about those. There's our small little rooster there. We have this is the husband, but we have the wife of this one, who's has a baby chick right now with her. Here's a shop cat. More chickens running around. This place is always full of chickens, actually, because they really like underneath this lilac. I got you. They really like underneath this lilac bed. They kind of just dug it up, and what we did when we first moved in, it was kind of almost like fall when we moved in, so there was leaves everywhere. It wasn't really too maintained, so we ended up putting all the leaves in a pile right here, and it kind of created this very nice wet soil, which these chickens just love digging through. What happened? Did you stay out tonight? Did you not go inside the shop? We actually just moved the cats into the shop again. They were sitting with me downstairs in the basement, so they were hanging out with me while I was working on the computer. So we actually moved them back into the shop. So both of them are there now. So let's start heading towards the yard. We got my brother's stuff kind of all over the yard at the moment. Kind of working on organizing everything. Tractor here. So down here's where we got the view. It's still a mess. Working on cleaning it. We got a bunch of cardboards, you know, from moving, and you know, just things that we're throwing out that we just don't need anymore. So all of those is kind of a hassle because we're, you know, burning some of them, trying to throw out what we can, but we're going through a bunch of you know, fires and trash setups. So here we got some more lilac bushes. These are also pretty overgrown. I mean, they're really not that maintained at the moment. So we're gonna be chopping those down, and, you know, getting them in better shape. Got some beautiful clouds today. But right down here we have an actual blackberry. So this is, I'm not sure if it's wild or not, but it was here when we moved, and we weren't sure if it was a blackberry or what exactly it was. Here's some more of the leaves of it, but it already had fruit, and it was phenomenal fruit, so we were very excited by that. I ended up trimming it on accident when we moved here, because it was overgrown onto our driveway. It was like all the way out to here. So I ended up trimming it, and it kind of just went crazy because of that. It had shoots from everywhere that I trimmed it, and just grew really crazy after that. We're still harvesting some raspberries, so we have some raspberries here, and you can see the fruit is still on there. And you can see there's a wasp there, which I am not excited to meet. So some of the raspberries are probably a little overdone at this point. We haven't been able to harvest them recently. There's those raspberries, and those we actually discovered. Well, we just discovered those recently. We didn't even know those raspberries were here because it was basically overtaken by the blackberry, and it just started having fruit, and we're super excited by it. Here's some more raspberries, or at least I think they're raspberries. They could be black raspberries. They're kind of similar with their leaves, but they're down there, so we're either gonna transplant those to some other location, or unfortunately just cut it completely because it's kind of being overgrown by the lilac already. And I believe we had another one somewhere in this bush here, which we'll probably end up transplanting as well. We have this huge wall of I don't know what exactly they're called, but they're really nice yellow flowers when they're in season, and they're like the first flowers that you see. So it's a huge wall of yellow flowers basically right here, but it's it's way past the season, and they're kind of starting to die off at this point. Right here, where you could kind of sit here and see the view, we got some roses growing. Those were also planted here. They're really old roses, but they're not really they're kind of overgrown right now, not really well maintained. So we're gonna work on maintaining those, and we'll probably have a video of maintaining those too. And on this side, don't really have much going on I guess this is like the property boundary or something, but they got these huge trees kind of bordering. I really like the grass here. I cut it like a week ago, I think, but I really like the grass because it's got this soft moss cushion basically throughout the grass, and I'm kind of surprised it still grows here, just because of all these pine trees. I know usually these trees are really acidic for the soil, and usually stuff doesn't grow underneath, but at least the chickens enjoy it. And these trees were here when we came, but actually one interesting thing, there's none of it on that side, but on this side it's an entire basically field of wild strawberries. So we're not sure if the previous owner planted them. Let me see if I can find you some leaves here. So right here, this is a wild strawberry leaf, and if you look carefully, I mean, this entire place is absolutely littered with wild strawberries. He's checking us out, what we're doing. It's just everywhere here is wild strawberries. So during, I believe, the first plant or the first fruit we harvest is the wild strawberries, and right towards the end of the wild strawberries we get to the black raspberries that are up by the hill here. And right when those black raspberries are basically completely finished, we get the blackberries, and once we get the blackberries we start getting some raspberries, and that kind of closes off the season. We also have some blueberries planted, so I believe in between the blackberry and the raspberry we're gonna have a blueberry season as well. So it's kind of awesome. We get like non-stop fruit. So far this year we haven't been able to do that, just because we've been so busy going back and forth. But next year we're gonna hopefully document all that fruit and bring you along on that journey. So this is kind of a more laid back video, just doing a walkthrough of what we got going on here, and we're gonna have a couple more videos kind of going through what else we got planted and what's currently growing and what's in season. So if you look forward to those videos, and if you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, like our videos. It's gonna help us out a lot, and we're gonna push out much more videos as we get more subscribers. Alright, so I'll end you guys on the wonderful lilacs, and I'll see you guys in the next video.